Is the dreaded doctor's visit of the year, the dentist. But do you really need to see the dentist twice a year? WSJ's Angela Chen is here to fill us in and tell us what can happen if you don't make the time to get those pearly whites taken care of. Welcome, Angela.
It's great to be here.
So, Angela, dental professionals have long recommended this twice a year visit, but is that really necessary?
Well, it depends on, other factors. So the twice a year measure was created with the average person in mind. That's someone who's, let's say, middle-aged, they don't smoke, they brush their teeth twice a day, and they have a relatively healthy diet. So, I think that would accompany, most of us. The people who should go less, that is kind of hard to get into that category. These people are really young, they never eat sweets, they're just, health freaks. But there are a lot of people who maybe should be going more. And these are if you're older, if you have dry mouth, if you have soreness of the gums. So those are all kind of things that suggest you should be going more than twice a year.
So it sounds like it's very a case-by-case situation. Yeah. So I, for one, am sort of kind of a healthy eater, but I eat a lot of sweets. So what does that mean for me? Should I be going more than twice, potentially?
It's something you should definitely talk about with your doctor, but if you eat a lot of sweets, especially if you eat them at night, especially if, you might not know this, but especially if you have an especially acidic saliva balance, that might mean you should go more than twice a year.
Besides cause cavities, is that the main concern if I'm eating too many sweets? That's why I need to go to the dentist more often? Is that the main risk, so to speak?
It's not so much cavities. Cavities, I think a lot of us have dealt with them. The biggest risk is that of it's irreversible bone loss. So over time, if the plaque builds up and it doesn't get scraped away, it causes your gums to become inflamed. And what happens then is that you start to lose the bone inside your jaw, the one that's keeping your teeth in place, keeping them from falling out.
Yikes!
And that can't be reversed.
No, that sounds kind of scary. Now you said there's people who should go more often, maybe even 3 to 4 times a year. So some of those situations you said they have dry mouth. What are some of the other factors that may cause them to want to go more often?
One thing is if you happen to have overlapping teeth or if your teeth are crowded, if you have trouble opening up your mouth enough to really brush in the back, that just means there's a higher risk of having plaque or having tartar buildup. If you feel tenderness of the gums when you're brushing a lot, that's usually a warning signal. If there's just something off, like if there's a dull ache in one of your teeth, like that's another sign maybe you should be getting checkups more often.
Now, I don't know if this was in your story, but I, for one, sort of have a fear of the dentist. Did anyone talk about how you can kind of get over that fear, or is this sort of evidence enough that, hey, some really bad things could happen if you don't go, so that should be motivation enough?
That's one part of motivation. The other part is, the longer it is between visits, the more buildup there'll be, which means, the scraping will be worse and it'll be more painful. So if you go more often, hopefully it'll be less painful and you can get over that a little more.
Less painful is a good motivation. I'm gonna make an appointment for January 1st. Now we'll see what happens. Thank you so much, Angela. I appreciate it.